Alright, YouTube. You got a special video. I've never seen this dude before. Kai the Beach Kid. I don't know who he is. But I saw this video pop up on the Explore page. And I was like, man, let's click on it. Let's see what he's talking about. Exposing the next face of the NFL.
Years ago. The year is 2015. The Patriots just won their 4th championship of the Brady-Belichick era. Cam Newton was about to put the Panthers on his back. Adrian Peterson was still the best pure runner in the league, and Peyton Manning was coming back for his final season. Hard to believe that was a decade ago, but I want you to guess the highest selling jersey in the NFL that year. Was it?
I'm gonna guess. Oh, alright, bet.
Option A, Odell Beckham Jr. Option B, Tom Brady. Option C, Joe Hayden. Or option D, Luke Kuechly.
OBJ. Jersey sales leader. I'm going OBJ. 20. Was that the year that he made the catch, though? If that was the year that he made the catch, I'm going OBJ. If it's not, then I'm going to go Luke Kuechly. Because Luke Kuechly's nice, too.
If you said Tom Brady, you'd be correct. And you'd also be correct for the 2018, 19, and 21 seasons.
Damn.
Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott both outsold Brady in 2016 as perhaps the greatest rookie duo of all time. But from there, Tom Brady finished top 2 in each of the next 5 seasons.
Really?
It took finally reaching the age of 45 for him to stop dominating the jersey sales leaderboard. Even with Patrick Mahomes bursting onto the scene in 2018 and winning MVP, it still took him years to outsell the GOAT. Since the calendar turned to 2020, the top spot has been a revolving door. The NFL does not have a clear face of the league the way it did in the 2000s with Peyton Manning or the 2010s with Tom Brady. You would think that it'd be Patrick Mahomes given all he's accomplished, but the numbers just don't back that up. With regard to jersey sales, he's constantly in the mix, yet has only been the leading seller once. Plus, the flashiness of Mahomes has faded with the Chiefs opting for a more conservative offense in recent years. And with quarterbacks like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow having amazing regular seasons year after year, nobody has captured the throne for themselves like Brady did. This is why your favorite player will not be the next undisputed face of the NFL.
So you're saying there's going to be no face?
CJ Stroud established himself as one of the best quarterbacks in the league as a rookie in 2023. He entered year 2 with some fans and analysts alike predicting 40 touchdowns and even an MVP award for the Ohio State product. Stroud is already one of the best pure passers in the NFL, but there are a few problems. While he's far from a statue in the pocket, he's not a real problem on the ground. Jayden Daniels, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts are far more dangerous with their legs than Stroud, always a threat to pick up a first down or even an explosive gain. And Lamar, obviously, but that could have gone without saying. But what about Patrick Mahomes? He's not some speed demon, and
he's an
if
improviser.
You had to pick a face of the league over the last 5 years,
he does what needs to be done.
But here's the thing
with
Mahomes. He is actually a little threatening on the ground, whether he's trucking someone or doing his sideline bullshit. Not to mention the 3 rings.
No.
Which brings me to my next point. Stroud can be great in the regular season all he wants, but if he's not going to win a Super Bowl, it's nearly impossible to reach face of the league status, even for a brief moment. And there's no question Stroud's sophomore campaign was a massive disappointment. But in fairness to him, last year his supporting cast took a major hit. Nico Collins and Joe Mixon missed significant time, Stephon Diggs tore his ACL, and Tank Dell suffered a gruesome injury in Week 16. He'll likely be out all of 2025, and it's no guarantee he'll come back at full force. Fortunately, Nico Collins is a no-doubt top 10 wide receiver, and the Texans replenished their receiver room by signing Christian Kirk and then selecting Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel in the draft. So who is the real CJ Stroud? Time will tell.
Drake Maye.
Drake Maye flashed superstar potential right off the rip in 2024. He's 6'4", 225 with strength, scrambling ability, and more polish as a passer than was expected as a rookie.
He's finna go to
Among the 4 standout signal callers from the 2024 draft class, Maye certainly didn't have the most impressive stats on a per-game basis. As a matter of fact, you could argue his service numbers were even worse than Caleb Williams. But it's pretty obvious that Drake Maye and the Patriots as a whole are on the way up. However, becoming the face of the NFL is just too much for Maye at the moment. To be the face, the first step would be to make the playoffs. In his rookie campaign, Drake Maye became the guy in Week 6 and proceeded to go 3-9 as a starter. But that was with one of the worst offensive lines and receiving cores in the game. So with new additions of Stephon Diggs, Travion Henderson, and Will Campbell, hopefully Maye won't have to carry the entire team on his back. In order to truly put his name in the discussion, he'll need to bring the Patriots back to what New England is used to, contending for the Lombardi Trophy year in, year out. In addition, he'll need to put up regular season numbers that resemble Josh Allen. We're talking 4,000 yards through the air, 500 on the ground, and close to 40 total touchdowns. So all of those things coming together, not impossible, though I can't say it's likely.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Just like Drake Maye needs the right system and support to win, so do you. Just look at these results. They're using no matter date on 1,007-day free
maturity.
If we watched football for pure talent and flashy throws, but disregarded the actual results, Caleb Williams might already be the new face of the NFL. He pulls off throws that only a few QBs in the league can make, and can really move as well. His improv, off-platform throws, and passes he can make from different arm slots are next level and just skills you can't teach. But this isn't USC anymore. Holding the ball for 8 seconds isn't going to fly in the NFL. Some plays Caleb makes are undeniably just bad and leave you scratching your head. That, along with his personality, make him one of the most polarizing, if not disliked players in the NFL.
Yeah.
And for Bears fans, when Caleb completes a flashy pass, it can feel like heaven. But inconsistency at the quarterback position awakens the pessimist in all of them. What Caleb has going for him is the Mahomes physical toolbox, Ben Johnson's play calling, great weapons, but most importantly, the upside of being the first truly great Chicago Bears QB. If Caleb reaches elite status, the NFL will shove him down America's throat. He will be on every commercial, billboard, poster, and it will feel like he's playing in prime time every single week. But that's never going to happen until he strikes the right balance of freestyling and playing within structure.
Yeah, it's true. But that's facts, though. I agree. Once Caleb, I believe, develops and gets his footing right, which I think this could potentially be a big year for him. They gonna be on his shit, trust me, because they like Caleb Williams. For sure. Yeah, Bo Nix is for sure boring. He's for sure boring.
Bo Nix quickly exceeded expectations as a rookie.
But he has the talent,
a weak arm,
and he looks good playing football.
Before he even threw a pass in the NFL.
Like, we don't even know what he does.
Not only did he show off some deep
outside
passing
of football
shots, but the wheels to go along with them. He's not your typical big-bodied QB at just 6'2", 215 pounds, but he logged nearly 4,000 passing yards, 400 rushing, and over 30 total touchdowns with no one but Cortland Sutton to lean on. But the hurdles Bo would need to clear to even sniff the face of the league competition are nearly insurmountable. He simply doesn't operate with the sexy play style that the uber-talented guys like Allen, Mahomes, and Caleb do. He's certainly not boring, but he just doesn't get the fans' blood pumping. And off the field, it's not like he has some captivating charisma to make up for it.
Yeah, I was just saying,
if Bo Nix wants any shot at being the next face of the league,
Bo lives in Denver,
he'll need to contend for the MVP and become Sean Payton's worthy successor to Drew Brees. The odds are slim.
The odds are slim. Joey B. Awards. Oh yeah, he don't have shit either, huh?
Joe Burrow single-handedly brought playoff football back to the city of Cincinnati after going 31 years without a single postseason win. It's hard to say he isn't the most lethal passer in the NFL at this moment in time. In fact, he's the closest thing we have to the passing gods from the previous generation that we all remember so fondly. Despite playing for one of the most questionably run franchises in football, he's thrived in every fully healthy season. If you're trailing in the second half, I'm not sure there's any quarterback better suited to come back and steal the win other than maybe Patrick Mahomes.
Or Joey
But Burrow has major work to do if he ever wants to become the clear-cut face of the NFL. He made the Super Bowl in 2021, and that means something. It means a lot, actually. That was one of the best playoff runs in recent memory, and he almost made it back in 2022. But I have no doubt the injury-shortened 2023 and then third-place division finish in 2024 has Joe Shiesty as pissed as ever. However, he's never even been an All-Pro, and his shining personal accolades are his 2 Comeback Player of the Year awards. For the sake of this discussion, he's going to need an MVP. The harsh truth about Joe Burrow is that he's an elite quarterback with 2 amazing receivers, but playing on a poorly constructed roster and for a bad front office that makes it difficult to expect a Super Bowl in Cincinnati. The godly passing numbers will continue, but a championship ring? I'm not holding my breath.
Mark. That will be a question mark, but hey, can they do it? They got Chase Brown. Receivers. What about them?
I put Ja'Marr Chase and Justin Jefferson together for an obvious reason. Both are all-decade caliber receivers who make entire defenses game plan around how to stop them from going for 200 yards. Ja'Marr Chase has been a superstar since week 1 of his rookie year, but Justin Jefferson cannot say the same. No. It took him until week 3 to start doing the gritty. Either way, it didn't take us long to know each of these guys were generational wideouts. Their numbers rival anyone's in NFL history through the first half-decade of their careers, but they both suffer from the same fatal flaw. They are receivers. Despite their dominance, there's only so much you can do at that position to become the true face of the National Football League. Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Megatron, Randy Moss, they're the greatest receivers of the 21st century, but were they ever the face of the league? Definitely not.
Nah.
But what about Jerry Rice? Was he the face?
He was popping.
Yeah, actually, I would say he was. But that took demolishing records and 3 Super Bowl rings. Can Chase and Jefferson achieve anything remotely close to that?
Fuck.
The short answer is no. Jerry Rice was a second-team All-Pro at 40 years old. Both of them have marketability in spades. But to be the face of the league, one of them needs to clearly separate themselves from the other and win a Super Bowl. I'd give Jefferson the upper hand just because of the organization he plays for, but it's still far-fetched.
I don't know. It's tough. No credit. Yeah, Jalen Hurts does not get
There's
credit
no
for
doubt.
nothing.
Jalen Hurts has proven he's a very good quarterback. He's played like a top 10 guy for the majority of 3 seasons now, and was even the MVP runner-up in 2022, excelling as both a passer and runner. He's made 2 Pro Bowls and had a career's worth of postseason success already. I mean, he's the centerpiece of a play that is so unstoppable that people want it banned, thanks in no small part to his physical strength. But unfortunately for Jalen, his greatest blessing is also his greatest curse. A dominant offensive line, 2 stud receivers, and the best running back in the NFL is what every quarterback wishes for. And I'm obviously not saying he'd ever trade any of that for individual praise, but it's the Eagles' absurdly stacked roster that gives the Jalen Hurts detractors ammunition to butt heads with the Jalen Hurts truthers. I mean, even Tom Brady had his fair share of haters who said Belichick was the real MVP all the way up until he went to Tampa and put that narrative to bed. And I'm also not saying this is fair, but in order for Jalen to get a heap of credit, he'd need to carry the Eagles back to the Super Bowl with no help on offense. And there are 2 main reasons why that's probably never going to happen. Number 1, he's not Cam Newton. But more importantly, the Eagles are too well run to ever let the offensive personnel deteriorate to that extent.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts' most realistic path to becoming the face of the league is for the Eagles' defense to regress to the point where Philly has no choice but to pass the ball more in shootouts, allowing him to rack up, let's say, 4,000 passing yards, 700 rushing, and 40 total touchdowns on his way to an MVP and another Super Bowl appearance. In other words, an offensive campaign that's so impressive, people have no choice but to put him in the same bucket as Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
Nice.
But that's asking for a lot.
That is tough. Playoffs. Yeah, Lamar.
In 2019, Lamar Jackson proved he was simply a unicorn. With the greatest dual-threat season in NFL history, he instantly put himself in the conversation as the next face of the league. There's no better way to cement yourself in that discussion than to win MVP in your very first year as a starting quarterback. He's a demigod, is he not? Lamar has the mobility of Michael Vick and better pure passing chops than anyone could have dreamt of when he was drafted 7 years ago. Lamar is still missing one thing though, and in order to really solidify himself as the face of the league, he's going to need to improve upon his 3-5 playoff record, which we all know is bad, but it gets even worse. His record against the 2 guys he really needs to beat, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, 0-3. Lamar is like that kid who's the biggest bully in elementary school until his 2 older brothers from high school show up and shove him in a locker. I hate to say it, but that's the best way to describe his situation right now. He can beat up on the rest of the AFC in the regular season, then take down the likes of the Steelers or whatever lowly wild card he faces in the playoffs, but those wins don't count for much. He has to put the championship punctuation on his routinely dominant regular seasons if he wants to be the next undisputed face of the NFL. The absolute horse that is Josh Allen not only brought the Buffalo Bills back to their winning ways, but he's also been the most statistically impressive quarterback of the 2020s, with over 40 total touchdowns in each.
Put the sweat on back right. It's crazy. Where are you going?
Go get the fucking
food.
Angry chips, yeah.
Of his last 5 seasons.
Huh?
Said Tania's staying here.
Where's she at?
Out there with my dad.
That's 215 scores in that span, which is 36 more than Patrick Mahomes in second place with just 179. Only Mahomes has more passing touchdowns, yards, and wins in that time. Even more impressive is the fact that he has more rushing touchdowns than Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, David Montgomery, and Alvin Kamara over the past 5 seasons. He's truly only rivaled by Jalen Hurts and Cam Newton as the all-time great quarterback weapons inside the 5-yard line. But I have bad news for Josh Allen if he thinks he's ever going to become the face of the league without conquering his only kryptonite. Unlike Lamar, who has a Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes problem, Josh Allen only has a Patrick Mahomes problem. He's 7-6 in the playoffs, 2-0 against Lamar, but 0-4 against Mahomes. Buffalo fans can barely endure hearing the phrase 0-4 in any context. But at some point, if you want to be the man, you gotta beat the man. The good news is he's going to age much better than someone like Cam Newton, who was already falling apart by the time he was 29, which is the age Josh Allen is right now. So he should get plenty more cracks at the Chiefs in January. He seems borderline indestructible and time is on his side. I mean, even Brady didn't for sure take the torch from Peyton as the face of the league until at least his 2010 MVP season, when he was 33 years old.
Damn.
If we're envisioning a face of the league run for Josh Allen, we need to look at the past faces. We had Montana in the 80s, Jerry Rice in the early 90s, Peyton in the 2000s. But in between Jerry Rice and Peyton Manning, Brett Favre reigned supreme. He won 3 straight MVPs and a Super Bowl from 95 to 97. So having just won his first MVP, if Josh Allen can just maintain this level of play and slay the Mahomes dragon on his way to a championship, he could be the next face. But it would probably be a short reign.
Track record.
Jayden Daniels has the best combination of proven ability and youth on this list. He made as loud a statement as anyone has ever made in their rookie season. To be the face, you need to have all of the ingredients. Your play needs to be undeniable, to the point where no one can argue you're not a top 2 or 3 quarterback year in, year out.
So nice,
you could already put Daniels in the top 5.
For sure.
Next, you need to have your name attached to the most prestigious honors in the league. So far, he's on his way. Pro Bowl, 7th in MVP voting, and Rookie of the Year. In fact, you could easily make the argument it was the most impressive season of all time for a rookie signal caller. He combines elite running ability with being a borderline top 10 talent just as a pure passer. The biggest challenge is undoubtedly the fact that his team needs to contend for a championship pretty consistently for 5 to 10 years while winning one in the process. Now, sustained dominance and stacking Lombardi trophies is extremely difficult. And I know we're used to Washington being a complete joke, but under new ownership, they've quickly morphed into one of the more well-run franchises in the NFL. They went 12-5 and made the NFC Championship in just their second season of the post-Dan Snyder era, and will only continue to accumulate more talent. The arrow is pointing straight up for the Commanders roster as a whole. Furthermore, the face needs to be a charismatic figure who not only revolutionizes the game, but also leaves a footprint on modern culture. I'm not 100% sure Jayden Daniels will do that, but we already have interesting lore about his mom not allowing him to talk to girls, and just being an all-around no-nonsense, all-football, sickly obsessed competitor. The issue, of course, is that we have as much competition as ever at the top of the quarterback food chain. Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow, that's as good a top 4 as the league has ever seen, except for the first half of the 2010s when we had Brady, Rodgers, Manning, and Breeze, Arguably the 4 best passers in the history of the game, all still at the peak of their powers. For Jayden Daniels to even enter that tier, he needs to take his game up another full level, which is fair to expect, but it's not a guarantee. Can he consistently keep his name in the MVP race? Can Washington consistently contend? After that, it's up to how the fans perceive him.
It's all about consistency too. It's what, like he's saying, like, yeah, 1 year is good for you, but in order to be a face of a league, you gotta be consistently in people's, be in the realm, be in people's face. Facts. He won't be a face because
Mahomes,
of that.
Before he's even hit the age of 30, already has his share of stands calling him the future GOAT. 6 Pro Bowls, 2 MVPs, 3 rings, taking down the Eagles, and 2 different versions of the 49ers, all 3 of which had absolutely stacked rosters. He lost Tyreek Hill to Miami and then proceeded to win back-to-back championships. There's no question, if you had to say who is the face of the NFL right now, it's Patrick Mahomes. But it's not to the extent of Peyton in the 2000s or Brady in the 2010s, regardless of whether you think Mahomes is better than they are or not. So given everything he's accomplished, why is this one-of-one talent not the babyface of the National Football League? Peyton Manning was almost universally loved. Brady had his haters, but they loved to hate him. Mahomes, in comparison, just feels more genuinely resented. Domination fatigue is certainly a factor. Every entertaining story needs a villain. But when you make 5 of 6 Super Bowls, most of which were good or even great games, but not instant classics like Tom Brady's, it starts to become predictable rather than riveting. That, coupled with playing in prime time constantly during the regular season, it's eventually going to become less interesting unless you're Chris Collinsworth, who just cherishes every Sunday night he gets to spend glazing. And I haven't even brought up his extreme momentary reactions to minor injuries, only to appear completely fine 5 minutes later, the whole referee narrative, or his abuse of the sideline hit rules. Personally, I don't even care about most of these issues, but I have grown mostly bored of him, especially as the Chiefs' offensive game plan has become a snooze fest. Unlike everyone else on this list, winning certainly is not Patrick Mahomes' issue, but he needs to make fans snap out of their boredom if he's going to reclaim the face of the league status all for himself. So did your next pick for future face of the NFL actually get exposed? Let me know in the comments.
Not Brock Purdy.